to begin this trip to Pemuteran, and it's the first time I'm going away in a couple months. I just felt like I needed a little getaway. I think that, as everybody does every now and again, that you just sort of want to escape your everyday reality. I'm generally really happy with my routine, but it's also fun to break out of a routine. So I'm going up to the northwest of Bali for 2 days, and the northwest of Bali is somewhere that I've never been before. I've been to every other cardinal direction of Bali, but this is a place that I think most people don't even know about. It is just kind of the abutting edge that reaches to Java, and there's actually a ferry that goes from Bali to Java that leaves not far from where I'm going to be going for a couple days. There are 3 different routes that can take you from Canggu to Pemuteran. The one driving up the coast on the west is used by freight trucks and not recommended if you're on a scooter. The one driving up the center of the island goes through some steep roads around the mountains. It gets both cold and rainy up there, not to mention that the road conditions are not ideal. My recommendation is to take the one between those two that has less traffic than the highway but is still easier to navigate than the route up through the mountain, even if it's less exciting at times. On the path I chose, the ride wasn't particularly difficult, and I got lucky that it didn't rain at all during the 3-hour drive. There were definitely some moments of scenic beauty along the way, and it was exciting to glimpse the ocean once I had reached the north of the island, a confirmation that I didn't have much further to go. Alright, so I've made it here. I'm just going to the check-in area now. Hi. Where's the check-in office? Okay. After checking in, I was led to my private villa just up the hill. What awaited me was beyond my expectations and even more beautiful than the photos online could do justice. Wow, it's amazing here. This is unbelievable.
So from the top of this villa, you may see a double view. I mean, you got the sunrise and also sunset over there.
Wow.
And sunrise over there. At the previous time, this one is the jungle. So nobody live here. And then it came the eruption from Mount Agung.
Yeah, a couple years ago, yeah?
No. Long time ago already. And some people who live nearby Mount Agung moved here because it's safety for them. And then after that, they start the community here for the Hindus community. And then for Muslim community, they're coming from Java and live here. So nice. It blends together. And then over there, you can do kayak to go to the island. And next to the island, we have Coral Restoration Project. Our own underwater gallery. For tomorrow, 16 February, if you would like to do the activities over there, the tide have to be at least 0.8 meter. So tomorrow at 9 it's possible.
Tomorrow night?
9:30, 9:30 a.m.
Okay, I'll do that tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Alright, so the very first thing I have come to do is have some lunch. I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten now, obviously, for around 4 hours since I woke up, and it's been a pretty long drive to get here, but I have to say that as soon as I saw the room and this view, it was all worth it. I want to stay here longer than just like the 48 hours that I booked, because this is unlike anywhere I've seen before in Bali, and I think that I actually tend to say that every time I go somewhere new in Bali, but this place is truly unbelievable. So the menu looks really good. I haven't fully given it a look, but I can tell that it's all the kinds of food that I like, which is to say healthy things and lots of options like Thai pulled chicken wrap and poke bowl and just lots of things. This is the only restaurant that is open right now because I think everything else, being that there are no tourists, has closed, but I'm certainly happy enough to eat all of my meals here for the next who knows how long I'm going to actually end up staying. This is the Thai chicken wrap with the quinoa salad. Looks absolutely delicious. I don't even like vlogs where people eat on them. Like, I'm so not an Anthony Bourdain or a foodie, even for that matter. But This is really good. And the only reason I'm so excited about the food and my blue butterfly pea flower tea is just because everything here is so healthy and so fresh. And the thing is that sometimes when you go on these kinds of rustic getaways, especially to a place like the North of Bali where almost no one comes, you are not sure what really you're in for, what you're going to get. But I have to say, from what I've seen thus far of everything, of the villa, of the common areas, the yoga shala, the restaurant, everything here is so top-notch. I wish that I was married or in a romantic relationship here with someone. I think this is an incredible place to come for a honeymoon, or really just like to impress someone. And it's so funny because yes, I live in Bali, and Bali itself is a place that people dream of to come. And the thing is that Canggu, after you've lived there for a while, or in my case, after you're kind of used to the lifestyle of more laid-back places. I've already lived in Tulum, I've lived in Chiang Mai. Even a place like Canggu can at times feel a little bit busy because there's traffic, there's a lot of people. But when you come to a place like this and you're totally immersed in nature, and my view is the mountains and the ocean and jungle, I mean, this is really, really special. And I'm so excited and so happy to be here. Okay, so first of all, what is the point of having your own private villa if you're not going to skinny dip? So I can't really show you anything below right now, my chest, but you can imagine, if you want to, I have absolutely nothing on, and I am in absolute paradise here in this gorgeous infinity pool that is literally an infinity pool because right there is the ocean. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I just reached out to the reception desk and asked if they can organize some activities for me. Some of the things that seem really interesting to do here are horseback riding. I want to go canoeing / kayaking, whatever it is. Snorkeling in the sort of mangrove that they've created, which is part of a coral reforestation project, and I really don't think that I'm going to have enough time to do all of the incredible activities there are to do around here. So, anyway, I'm just going to continue to enjoy this absolutely magnificent place, and the water is warm, and the water is blue, and the view is majestic, and it feels so good to be in this pool after being on a motorbike for just over 3 hours. But as the day drew to a close, all I wanted to do was sit and take in the view from the deck chair, bintang in hand. The next morning, I woke up early, well, for me at least, feeling enlivened and excited by what the day had to offer. So it's breakfast time, and this is quite a bounty that I've ordered. These are moringa pancakes. Moringa is a superfood that has a lot of, I think, vitamin A, helps with eyesight, and I don't usually eat so much carbs for breakfast. I usually have a very, very simple breakfast of just cereal. But when you're on vacation, I feel tout est permis, as we say in French. Everything is permitted. So I also got these scrambled eggs. And this is interesting. I thought this was going to be a cold smoothie, but they've delivered it as a hot libation. And it's similar to the coffee that I make at home in the morning. They've added maca powder and I think cayenne pepper and also cinnamon in here, so it's kind of like a superfood coffee. I wanted actually a cold smoothie, so I'm not sure why they delivered that hot, but I'm not going to complain. I'm so happy with this incredible bounty of food. The plan today is after breakfast I'm supposed to go on a kayaking trip, kayaking or canoe. I actually don't really know what the difference between the two is, and go snorkeling as well around the bay. So I'm excited for my first and only full day here in Pemuteran in the northwest of Bali. It's just, I don't know what to say. It's the most gorgeous place, and to look out on this view as I'm having breakfast, I can't stop smiling. The resort offers a free shuttle, which I'm on right now, and I'm headed to the canoeing and the snorkeling. I'm so excited. I brought my GoPro along, which I just bought last month, and I've not even really had the chance to use except for on this trip. Actually, the area where I'm going for the snorkeling is a sustainable kind of garden underwater that they've created, where I think I'm going to be planting a baby coral. So it's to repopulate the coral population here. Hello. Ya, selamat pagi. Adrian. Kita pergi kemana?
Ke konservasi terumbu karang Metamoforsa. Now you can look baby coral.
Berapa lama ke sana?
Sekitar 30 menit.
30 minit? Along the way to the coral reef, we stopped at a fishing station in the middle of the bay. I think it was some sort of fish farm. I couldn't really understand, but nonetheless found the experience unique, and the fishermen didn't seem to mind the company either. Oh my god! Ini terbesar! Those fish in there are the biggest fish I've ever seen in my life that are alive in person. Wow. I think they're called grouper, he told me, but I'm not sure if that's the same. Oh my god, this also, ini juga grouper?
Yeah.
Okay, this fish is gigantic.
Kamu bisa lihat black snapper.
Black snapper. After visiting this sort of floating aquarium, we then continued on our way, paddling just a little further to the Metamoforsa Reef. This is so cool. There's so many starfish right below us, and the water is so shallow. I have to say, I've been snorkeling a few times in different places in the world, in Krabi, in Thailand, and in Gili, but here might be, I think, potentially the most special place. The water is crystal clear. There's starfish. There's going to be other kinds of fish. Ikan yang mana di sini?
Ikan.
Ya. Ya.
Sana. Kita nanti snorkeling di sana.
Jenis yang mana ikan itu?
Jenis yang seperti Nemo.
Nemo?
Ya, barakuda.
Ah, barakuda. Apakah itu berbahaya, barakuda?
Tidak.
Mereka makan
Manusia?
What?
Makan manusia. Makan orang.
Yeah, makan orang.
Tidak.
So right behind me here is the conservation center where we're headed to do the snorkeling, and where I think we're going to plant baby coral maybe, or just snorkel around and see the barracuda and the other types of fish that are here. There's just one other group of people here, so it's pretty exclusive and pretty amazing to come to a place like this when there's hardly any other tourists. You created this whole resort by yourself?
Well, together with a big team of people. Yeah.
How many villas are there?
I think 40.
40?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Where are you staying?
Villa Cinta.
Villa Cinta. Ah, okay. It's right.
Yeah. Saya cinta Villa Cinta. It's yeah. No, it's incredible. The view, I feel like, especially coming from Canggu, which feels so busy, you know, and then to come to a place like this, to just be able to breathe and to look out onto a view, it's so good for the soul.
Excuse me, sir. Bahasa Indonesia?
Yeah, bisa.
Push. Go to the right side. You see the ball there? You can find a beautiful color there.
Okay.
The wish tree.
Yeah.
We call the wish trees. And you can put donation to the wish trees over there. And also we have a gallery with the 6 monkeys.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 smart monkeys and 3 wise monkeys. And also we have a globe in the middle with a beautiful coral too.
Okay.
We have 1,000 baby coral here. It's already growing. And if you go to the left side, it's different gallery there. It's about the change. We use a concrete portal. There is the philosophy, meaning that's like we try to change ourselves,
Okay.
change the community, and change the life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the mission from Metamoforsa.
Metamoforsa is an NGO that works in partnership with the Sumberkina Hill Resort where I was staying. Their mission is to restore the coral population around the bay, which has been harmed through the years by cyanide fishing. Proceeds from each kayak tour benefit the Metamoforsa Reef Project. I can't recommend it enough as an experience and a worthy cause to support. This is the best kind of example for sustainable tourism that I've seen around Bali for a long time. Not only do you get to explore the beautiful underwater garden they've created, but help protect and grow this natural treasure. I would love to go back and do this again, but with one of those full face mask snorkels, as after half an hour of choking on salt water, I was done. But the adventure wasn't over yet. We paddled over to nearby Gili, Putih, a tiny sliver of white sand in the middle of the bay that made me wish I had a drone and the subscribers to merit buying one. So Kadek is only 19 years old, but he's so talented. He's showing me photos of drawings that he makes that he sells in a booth. And another really interesting thing about Kadek that he told me when we started our canoe trip is that he has 13 dogs, right? 13?
Yeah.
13 anjing?
Ya, 13 anjing.
I have only one dog, but he has 13. So that must be a lot of work, 13 dogs. All right, we made it back. We've finished our canoe paddling from the Gili Putih, and I'm just waiting now for the van to pick me up again to go back to the villa so I can wash up, relax, have some lunch. It's been such a lovely day. I don't even want to know what my hair looks like under this hat. I think it's probably completely ruined my keratin treatment from the salt water, but that's okay. It was all worth it. Honestly, this has been one of the nicest snorkeling experiences that I've ever had, and really special as well just because there's no other people around. I mean, no other tourists, and so just to be there and, you know, exploring everything like this is so unique and special and something that I don't think most people will ever get the chance to experience. So for that, I feel extremely lucky. And I've had the best guide today as well, Kadek, right behind me. Alright, so it is just about 4:30 and I'm supposed to head over to the Menjangan Resort, which is to the west of the island, for the horseback riding. However, it has started raining here kind of hard, and the reception says that it's not raining just 15 minutes away from here, but I'm not super enthusiastic about driving my Vespa in the rain, even though I know that the situation is that sometimes it just rains like a few minutes here and then it stops, but it's actually already kind of been pouring. Not pouring, it's a very light tropical rain for the last 30 minutes. So there's been a slight change of plans, but then also not really. The slight change of plans is that I'm still headed to the horseback riding, but I'm going in a car instead of my Vespa. But this was very much a back and forth decision up until even just 5 seconds ago when we were already in the car, and I said, wait, maybe I should take the Vespa because it's actually barely raining. I mean, little droplets. This is a perfect example of how things can change from 1 kilometer to the next here in Bali. So we were going through a spot where there was no rain at all. Now it started raining very heavily. So I'm very seriously doubting and questioning whether or not I'm going to be able to do this horseback riding, which I've really been looking forward to since I read about it yesterday. We'll see if when we actually get to the resort, the Manjantan Resort is the name of where I'm going, whether the situation is a little bit better there, but it looks like it's getting worse and not better.
Bali. Badan manis hidang masih. Oh iya, taruh balik.
Alright, so I'm determined not to let a little bit of rain stop me, and indeed I'm gonna go riding in this little drizzle and hope that it stays just a drizzle and nothing more than that, because this looks too much fun. Okay, ini cukup ya. Okay, yang lebih kecil.
Handphonenya nanti tidak bermasalah hujan.
Tidak apa.
Ya.
We had a brief start and stop with this 17-year-old mare, but she quickly showed her unwillingness to walk on the wet ground.
Sorry.
So we returned to the stables to see if we might find a more willing companion.
Sorry. Anak ini dia mau sendirian nanti.
So this is definitely one of the more dangerous things I've ever done, I have to say, with this particular horse that is really not in the mood to take me down a tiny little path. And I have to say I'm really glad that I'm not fucking alive during the Middle Ages, and that this would have been my only mode of transportation, because these horses are extremely unreliable. I don't know if I'm just unlucky because the first one was so, I hate to say it, but near death, and then this one is just not in the mood. She's not amused, and she's kind of got a bad attitude. She's chomping at her bit, literally. Well, unfortunately, we didn't make it to the beach for sunset. The horse was, yet again, not very cooperative. But nonetheless, I did get on the horse and it did stop raining. We had a nice little stroll through the trail while it lasted, but she was just kind of not in the mood. I'm not sure what's going on with the horses here. They're all females. They're all of a certain age, but I think that they're not used to going alone. The guide told me that usually they go in groups, and I'm alone and the guide was just walking, so maybe that's why there was no leader to follow, and so they just weren't feeling it today. But it is what it is. If you like riding horses, it is a fun option to come here and do that, to be in nature and to ride a horse on the beach up here, so it is an activity. As the sun sets on my last evening here, and sadly I just realized at this moment that I'm not really going to see the beautiful sunset that I was hoping to see yesterday, because actually in this direction is pretty much due northwest and the sunset is west, so it's over there, and the changing of the sky and the colors is not so spectacular from over here, but that doesn't matter at all, because these last day and a half, actually only I've been here, that's so crazy that it's been such a short amount of time, have been nothing less than sublime. And I don't use that word lightly. I'm someone who has very high standards, and this place has exceeded any expectation that I could have possibly had. The villa here is incredible. I met the owner today, this Dutch lady, while I was snorkeling, because she was also out there on a boat, and I gave her my commendations at what an incredible job she's done here, because everything is just amazing. The food in the restaurant is great. The fact that the bed is soft and comfortable and that they have a real comforter. I know I'm being a little bit absurd to talk about these things, but as someone who's been living in Bali for 2 years and been at many places, this is actually something that is remarkable. But I think that the bigger thing that I kind of wanted to talk about in conclusion of this video is how important it is to get away sometimes. And yes, I already live in Bali, and I live in Canggu, which is a place that people dream to come to for vacation, and I think that a lot of people couldn't even imagine living there, which I have for over a year now. But even Canggu, even a place like that, you fall into a certain routine, and I love my routine, don't get me wrong, but just being able to look at something different, and in my case to have this beautiful view and being able to look at mountains, which is something that I love and miss very much living in a flat place, does so much good for the mind and the soul, because every day, you know, I'm kind of looking at the same stuff, and I'm in my little home, which is beautiful, but still it's, you know, I don't have the kind of grandeur of space, you know, that really inspires the soul like I have here, where I'm just mesmerized by the view when I sit on the sofa and I look out onto the sea and look out onto this just unbelievable landscape. So I feel like this is something that I need to force myself to do a little bit more often, because I get a bit too stuck in my routine, and then I'm almost anxious every time to leave it, because I have to be totally honest that I hesitated, you know, really to book this trip and come here alone, because when my friend said that she couldn't come, I was thinking, well, do I really want to take this romantic trip by myself? But I'm so glad I did, and I've gone on so many trips by myself, and I think that you should never let the fact that you are a single traveler stop you from exploring and enjoying and just living all of these incredible adventures that life has to offer. So to that, I raise my bintang. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was fun. I hope that you enjoyed being my so-called date along this late Valentine's vacation. And until the next video, take care, and I'll see you guys later.